Hi, my name is Ryan Butcher with North of the Blue. Today I want to talk about a few rules that need to be followed while using the North of the Blue system. Now, when I first started North of the Blue, I like to test the system. So I tested the system and I lost money not following the rules. Again, I lost money not following the rules and testing the rules. So I have first-hand knowledge of what rules need to be followed, and if you do not follow the rules, you are taking the risk into no man's land. The first rule states that when this red trend line turns into a black line, or meaning it goes north of the blue, that is time to enter the stock. Now, again, when that black line turns into a red line and falls below the blue moving average, that is time to exit. That is the basic, simple rule for North of the Blue. Now we can look at several stocks when this happens. So an Apple, for instance, in September, let's just say got in around $261 following the North of the Blue rule. You could have gotten out today, on Friday at $340. Now, there are some additional rules to these, which I'll go over right now. When the trend line is above the blue moving average, you want to make sure you look at the power charts. This power chart changes or integrates with the volume and the trend. All three of these charts work together. If one moves in a certain direction, expect the other to move in the same direction. So, we have this black line, which represents upward price strength. This blue one, which represents high price strength or volume. Whenever this trend line begins to drop, you want to make sure you see this upward price strength above the high price strength. That indicates most likely, as in November, January, and February, and possibly right now in March, that a trend rebound will occur. And that happens when the upward price strength stays above the high price strength, and you'll see this drop further down, bounce off, and we'll see the bounce on the trend line, bounce off the trend line, and move back up. Now, North of the Blue was created to trade off support and resistance lines. As you can see, there's a support button down here, and you can click on that, and you'll see support lines appear. However, we'll go into those in a different video. The main support line and resistance line that you should be looking at is the blue moving average. When you see these green lines, they are a support line that does not move. The blue moving average, as it says in its name, is a moving average and is very accurate. As you can see, in November, the trend line touched it and bounced off. January, we came very close to touching it, but not quite. In February, we did touch it, and if we see in March, that red line indicates that the low of the day was actually below the blue moving average. And that has happened because of volatility with the natural disaster in Japan. So if we click on bars, we can see that on Friday, the low was below the blue moving average. So that indicates the red trend. Now this channel, however, indicates the close of the day. So instead of appearing with this red jail bar, which means that the stock closed below the blue moving average, we just see this red. So we have the black and above the blue and a very high blue by volume day. So we could say that most likely next week that Apple will continue its trend higher. So that are the basics of North of the Blue, trading with support and resistance. You definitely want to follow these rules. As I said, I lost a lot of money learning if the rules were true or not, and I can tell you the rules are true. And we'll go into more in depth on how the system works with the trend, power, and volume charts. I hope this was helpful and educational. If you have any questions, please email me at ryan@northoftheblue.com. Thank you.